got my first greenhouse disease today, which is hollyhock rust, and that's probably because they're massed together in here. Too much foliage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and save whatever I can and cut them back. Put them outside is what I was going to say. Before I get into that, just a reminder to take a look at my website, which is linked in the description. And going forward, I'm going to start putting endangered insects and wildlife on the merch that I have and use the platform to raise awareness of endangered wildlife and sort of insects, butterflies, etc. So if you have any in particular that you would like to see featured on my merch, let me know in the comments or message me and I will make sure that happens. For instance, in the US, I'm going to be doing one on the monarch butterfly. And here in the UK, I've just done one on the red squirrel for Christmas because, as anybody in the UK knows, the red squirrel has become endangered since the Victorians introduced the grey squirrel from America. And the grey squirrel was much more successful at resisting viruses and competing for resources, and therefore it basically wiped out the red squirrel. So there are conservation efforts at work to protect the remaining red squirrel up in Scotland and various other places. So, I think it would be really good to support their efforts by highlighting these endangered creatures. So let me know if you have one you want featured in the comments below. So the hollyhock rust is a fungal disease, and it's an airborne spreading kind of disease. And so the way I've clustered these here is just really the worst possible way I could have stored these hollyhocks. They're far too close together. I've allowed weeds to grow in the pots, and this has created too much density, and which has also created this high humidity. The leaves are touching, and this is just a breeding ground for this fungal infection. Worst of all, of course, with the winter now, I've been closing the door at night, so there's been a lot less airflow through here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort these out. I'm going to clip back all the infected leaves, and the leaves, the infection goes right down. So you have to look right down the stem of each leaf, because you will see the little pustules, the little orange rusty pustules, and they go right down the stem. And in some cases, in the worst cases, they were even on the new emerging growth. So I think in those cases, the hollyhocks will have to be disposed of. Now, all these hollyhocks I'm going to take outside, because also I think they are not really suitable being here in the greenhouse. I was mollycoddling them excessively, but they can withstand up to -18. Since it's an airborne fungal infection, I can take these outside into the cool air. They can get lots of air circulating around, which will keep them fresh and healthy. And they won't be so close together, because I'll be able to sort of dot them around so that they just have better air circulation, airflow, and they won't be able to spread to each other. Now, I did read while I was before I did this video, I did also read that certain varieties are more prone to rust than others. And I did notice that I think the rust came from a particular variety. Now, you should never collect seed from hollyhocks with rust. And it does seem that the Charter's double variety that I sowed from seed seem to be the main culprits, because they are rotten with rust, and I don't think they are going to be able to be saved. And they have then transferred the rust to the healthier plants. And this, by the way, is the healthier one. This is the creme de cassis. So that's unfortunate, because both seeds were bought new from supposedly trusted suppliers, and one has definitely, I think, been the culprit of the seed. Now, that said, I'm not going to name and shame, because I haven't optimized the conditions for growing these hollyhocks. So potentially it's my fault, and that the seed that is the culprit, the Charter's double seed, I think possibly I've made it just worse by storing these together. So I have to give the seed companies the benefit of the doubt here, because I did not optimize the conditions for growing and keeping these plants healthy. Now, that said, the creme de cassis, these ones here, I have been able to trim down, and as far as I can tell, there isn't any rust on these these bits that I've trimmed them down to. So I just trimmed off all the leaves, but you must look down the stem of the leaf because the rust goes all the way down the stem towards the main plant. And if it's in the main plant and the emerging shoots, I think you're probably going to be done. But I found that my new shoots on the creme de cassis plants were not infected, so I'm hoping they can be saved once I transfer them to the correct conditions outside. However, the charters doubles I think are ruined, and I'll show you those in a second. But here I'm just going to show you me clearing out all the because I use my own compost, you know, there are weeds in here. You can see a larkspur there. I've even got a columbine in another pot. So I just got rid of all those except the larkspur, because I will repot that. I'm absolutely terrible for not being able to throw plants away. And yeah, so that one, actually there was quite a lot of healthy new growth on that hollyhock, so I'm pretty sure I can save that. And be vigilant once you've had rust. Just be vigilant and look out for any more signs of rust when you get emerging new leaves and things like that, and just snip them off. The other thing is, of course, I did get a separate pot because the new leaves must go in a pot and be disposed of. And I have what I call a brown bin, and I will put them in there, and then the council takes that away so it doesn't go back on my garden. Now here I'm just telling you a little story here that I went for a walk, and there's some little alleyways in our village, and I live in a little country village, so there's hollyhocks in everyone's garden, and they self-seeded in this alleyway. And even just the other day I thought all the pods would be empty, but I thought I'll take a couple of these pods because they're not in anyone's garden. They have just self-seeded on the walkway and the pathways through the village green. And so I took a couple of pods, and you can see, look at all these free seeds. And these were like an apricot-y kind of hollyhock colour. So I'm going to have, and they didn't have rust, these hollyhocks. They've died back naturally and they look pretty healthy. So I took myself a couple of the pods of seeds. I didn't overdo it. And I let them dry in my kitchen. And now I have some seeds for next year. So a little tip there, don't go stealing them out of other people's gardens without asking. But, you know, if they've self-seeded on an alleyway near the village green, I mean, I think you can take a couple of pods, which is what I did. So I'll just show you this one quickly. It just has the start of the rust coming just here. And it does grow on the stem, so I'll just cut the whole stem off. I know that one has got it there. I was a bit late to discovering this because I just thought they were dying back for winter. You know, that's why the leaves were going a funny colour, but in fact they were diseased. So that's worth bearing in mind. So as you can see, they're already looking a lot better down here. I keep thinking that one's got rust, but it is just soil. Just before I show you the charters double, which are disastrous, just remember also that the wild hollyhocks I've noticed wild hollyhocks appearing after I bought hollyhocks from a garden centre. I think they self-seeded, but sort of reverted to sort of a natural wild weedy hollyhock. These apparently can spread the rust quite badly. So, you know, if you do have those weedy ones, just pull them up and get rid of them. Right, so let's have a look at the charters double now. Badly diseased, but it's also pretty wet, which it won't like with no air. So let's give it a chance. But it is definitely in worse condition than the creme de cassis variety. I'm going to have to cut this one right down. You can see, look here, let me show you. I mean, they're just dead. So now we've got airflow. Let's hope that will help. I don't know whether I like the look of that. It's got a new leaf coming, but honestly, I don't like the look of these charters double ones. Yeah, they're all grown from new seeds that I bought from the garden centre. But to be fair, you know, the conditions probably haven't been ideal. But these charters double ones seem to definitely be the worst affected. I'm going to cut down to, you can see it goes all the way down to the stem, so let's hope it's not infected right down at the base. So they're the creme de cassis, which I've been able to cut back to a healthy leaf, but these Chartres doubles just seem to be rotten, really. So in conclusion, you just need to have better hygiene than I had. Don't store them together in a greenhouse that's too warm, where the conditions are ripe for creating the fungal, for the fungal problem to just multiply, which is what I've done. I've created basically like a mini rainforest here with them all clustered together. It's damp, it's wet, it's warmer than average inside the greenhouse, obviously, and this has just been disastrous. So I'm going to put them outside because they're hardy to -18, so they will definitely survive our winters here. And I'm going to keep the creme de cassis. They're going to obviously be kept separately in the borders, and then I'm going to keep the Chartres double separately somewhere else, but outside where I can monitor them, because I want to know if you can cut them back as hard as I just did and that they will survive from the rootstock. So I'm a bit concerned that they might grow the rust again. So I'm going to keep my eye on them, and I'm going to keep them away from the creme de cassis. Don't forget to pull up those weedy hollyhocks as well, because they are likely to spread the disease or even bring the disease into the garden. And the final thing is, of course, is to just take your rust clippings away. And I don't even know if I would even burn these. I really wouldn't want to even burn them and then spread the ash on my garden. I just am going to have them taken away altogether, away from my garden, and just see how we get on from there. All right, that's it for this video. I am going to be doing some bizarrely timed ranunculus, so I will explain in my next video, and some anemones which are a bit late, and I'm going to be doing some really nice experimental stuff from I've got those beams in my greenhouse. Watch my greenhouse video. I've got those beams running along the top, and I'm going to do some unusual kind of hanging baskets from there to just really try and maximize the growing space inside this greenhouse. All right, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Bye.